let's talk about the new episode of Daredevil. Now, in this episode, we see Kingpin, Mayor Fisk, hearing about the fact that Daredevil was there to save the girl from earlier, and he's really angry, I guess, because in the beginning he made a deal with Matt Murdock that Daredevil wouldn't be around anymore, and it was the end. But apparently Daredevil's back, and then we get a shot of Matt Murdock in the hospital talking to the little girl, saying, and we see that everything's okay. She's perfectly fine. Well, not perfectly fine, but still, considering she's fine. And then we see Matt Murdock's girlfriend, a girlfriend talking to Matt, and she's starting to get suspicious about what's been going on with him. I mean, obviously he's been doing a lot of stuff that she didn't know about, and she finally gets suspicious, but he somehow managed to talk his way out of it. I mean, she thinks it's a trauma from his friend dying, but yeah, they don't go too deep into that. But mainly in this episode, we find out who the Muse is. Now, the Muse is apparently this guy who was at a small, lecture, I guess, that Matt Murdock's girlfriend was giving. And we honestly didn't notice him. I honestly didn't notice him. And didn't connect the dots on whether he was Muse or not. So anyway, he's the Muse. And he goes into an office for another therapy session, and she doesn't know it. And at the same time, Kingpin, one of the detectives that were looking into the case, finds out that the DNA matches. Wait, I don't think it's the DNA. It's a painting or something, a piece of cloth or something that they somehow managed to match to this guy. And then she does a background check on him and finds out that he has a lot of issues in the past. And there was one of his teachers, fighting instructor, died while he was teaching him. And so the detective pieced together that this guy is probably Muse. And Kingpin, she tells Kingpin, and they discuss about it. And at the same time, he's also somewhat confessing to Matt's girlfriend, the therapist, that he's the Muse, and that she's the reason that he was able to come out and be himself, truly be himself. He was able to bring out his art in the form of those murals with blood. And apparently, his final victim is gonna be her for some reason. And after she realizes this, she tries to escape, and he just knocks her out. And at the same time, Kingpin finds out about this, and he's shocked that his therapist, he's at his therapist's office. So that's a big deal. Now, later on, we see in the episode that Kingpin, the therapist is not on the ground, and not on the ground, on the floor, and Muse is dressed up as Muse again, and he's saying something about his work and something, and he's about to probably drain her. But before that happens, Daredevil jumps in, and he starts fighting Muse, and it's a big fight. And there's a lot of pushing and shoving and all that. And the cops are on their way. But they don't get there in time. So before that, Daredevil was fighting him. And during the fight, his girlfriend somehow managed to grab the gun. I think it was the gun that Muse had. And she shoots him and kills him. And then she falls on the ground. And Daredevil goes to her. And apparently does some small stuff and makes sure that she's alright. And just before the cops get there, he disappears again. So basically, she's saved. But Wilson Fisk finds out that Daredevil actually got there first and did the job before his task force could, and he doesn't want to accept it. So he publicly tells everyone that it's actually the task force that stopped Muse and not Daredevil. And he makes sure that the reporter from earlier doesn't say that either. But the only one who knows the truth is Daredevil's girlfriend. But maybe we'll hear something about her talking about that later on. And so now that's how the episode ends, and the new villain Muse is dead, which makes me wonder who's gonna be the next actual big villain. And I don't know, is the season actually gonna be over in the next episode, or is there something else big coming? I mean, obviously we're gonna need a confrontation between Kingpin and Daredevil at some point, because he's Daredevil again, and Kingpin is actually back to doing his old Kingpin stuff, because he kills one of the gang leaders who was planning to kill him. So he's basically back to being himself, and Matt Murdock's back to being himself. So I don't know how this is gonna end exactly, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, that's how the episode ends, and was overall an good episode, I guess. I mean, a lot of action, a lot of suspense, I guess. Well, not really a lot of suspense. News got revealed way too quickly. I mean, I really thought that he should have been integrated in the story more, but whatever. So yeah, that's what happens in the episode.